Meet Maxwell. He's the Lord of the Spirits. He's also a dude. A dude who's using a woman's body to interact with humans. And if you're familiar with the Tales of series, this is exactly what you'll come to expect. Sweeping stories, unconventional heroes, and powerful deities who name themselves after coffee and wear lady shells. If he/she doesn't take your fancy, and incidentally that shell's called Milla, you can take charge of young naive med student Jude and see the story through his eyes. Both are on an epic adventure to save the world from the naughty king of Rashagul. Naughty because he's built a giant cannon that sucks out people's mana and uses it to fuel this weapon of mass destruction. Icky. They're joined by cocky mercenary Alvin, suave butler Rowan, the cheerful Leia, and mysterious, definitely not created for evil Elise and her annoying talking doll, Tipo.
What do you mean, what's Tipo? You're looking at him! I'm Tipo! I'm Ellie's pal!
Ugh, shut up, Tipo! So, does it hold up to the rest of the Tales of series? Not really. Towns are sparse and underpopulated, like Norfolk with magic and swords, and the world itself feels slightly repetitive. Even though you're traversing the country, you better get used to seeing the same locations. Field, village, field, towering mountain of oh wait, no, another field. As well as looking a bit bland and watery, there's also some seriously suspect dialogue.
Why?
That is none of your concern.
Now, I know in the olden days, JRPGs and terrible VO went together like Simon and Jaffa cakes, but ever since Ni no Kuni came along with its core, tidy awesomeness, we've come to expect better. It could be the fact that it took ages to localize, or perhaps it's translations of those long Japanese sentences, but much of the dialogue suffers from lengthy, wooden delivery with too many awkward pauses. It's totally William Shatner, with the emphasis on shat.
Besides, I got a good deal and made some new friends in the bargain. Wahey!
What's great about Tales of Xillia, though, is the combat. It takes that classic Tales of approach of real-time action and adds spicy new things like linked combat. That's the ability to join your character with another member of your team, who will then support you by healing, breaking guards, or buffing your defense.
Keep the guards down.
Better yet, you can add a sprinkling of strategy to the mix by deciding what tactics and skills your teammates use in quite minute detail. If only I could do that in stupid real life. The combat is especially sexy when you compare it to Final Fantasy XIII's simplistic button-nudging ballfest. With Xillia, you'll have to guard attacks, think about who's best to link with against different foes, and consider opposing elements rather than just pressing X to win. See? We're better than that, Square Enix! We're better! Behind the scenes, there's loads of customization on offer through the Lilium Orb, which is rather like the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X. What does it do? Well, when you level up, you get GP, which can be plugged into various nodes on the grid, complete a segment, and unlock special hardcore abilities. It means you can tailor-make your team's progression. Imagine turning Alvin into a tank by upping his defense and HP, while Eliza turns Uber Healer thanks to some boosted magic stats. It's up to you. Finally, Xillia scores extra awesome points for continuing with the usual warped tales of humor. That means it's full of stupid sexy jokes and deliciously awkward conversations that are guaranteed to make you snort.
Teach me about bazongas. I can barely hear you. You have to mean it. Teach me about bazongas!
Whoa! Don't go shouting things like that!
Don't scold him, Leia. I read about this in a book. It's called Puberty. We're supposed to be understanding and supportive.
Don't hate us.
There's no shame in being burned by the fire of manhood.
A bit like the water cooler chat at the Yogscast. Hey Colin,
Oh, hey.
do you have any sex recently?
No, not really.
So there are good bits, but overall it feels like a game from 2011, which it sort of is. Tales of Xillia has taken forever to be localized after originally being released in Japan way back in 2011. It's so old, in fact, that Tales of Xillia 2 was released in 2012. It's so old, in fact, that it cries when it sees a fossil because it remembers what it was like when it was alive. Okay, maybe not that last bit, but it is old. And unfortunately, that age shows. It all feels a bit PS2. And the general experience is a bit like Tales of Diet. Sugar-free, thin and empty. Clearly, it's not the best Tales of game in the series, but the humour and combat mean it's not the worst either. In a world after Ni no Kuni, with its amusing dialogue, stirring music and gorgeous animation, there's just no excuse to feel this outdated. That being said, if you're looking for fresh JRPG kicks, the combat in the last kept me coming back for more. I'm not sure if it was worth the wait, but I've enjoyed it nonetheless. Tales of Xillia is out now on PS3.
Well done, Alvin.
All in the line of duty.
Naturally. Or I'll have you fired.
Whoa, hey now.